Good evening, everybody. This is Scott DeCamp with CatchMark SportsNet. We're here at the Montague Boys Soccer Media Day in the podcast studio. I'm pleased to have with me today two of the seniors. We have a winger, Chris Abig, which we just featured today in our Athlete Spotlight. You may have seen it. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. And then we have defender, Lucas Husband. Thanks for joining us, Lucas.
Yeah, thank you.
And then we have head coach Brandon Mahoney, who I'm told just moments ago, he's also the student section leader. So
But that's what they say. Yeah, that's the
he gets the crowd hype. So anyway, thanks for joining me, guys. And these guys are coming off a nice win the other day, Monday, 6-0 win over Manistee, which, really good win. And we'll talk about that first. And then we'll get into some more introductions. But just so that's so fresh, you had a guy out there that scored 5 goals in the game. I don't know when the last time was that maybe happened for Montague Soccer, but what was that whole game like for you guys?
I mean, we just had a complete game all around. We played all 80 minutes, and yeah, he scored 5 goals, but our whole team, we outworked them the entire game, and we just outplayed them.
It always takes that, and he even said that, I think, in the interview. It takes anytime anyone does something like that, it's not just an individual effort. Obviously everyone's got to be doing their jobs, but including you, guys on defense don't always get maybe the love because they're not scoring the goals, but obviously that's a very key part. And how much pride do you take in that?
I mean, I'm just glad to, have a game that ends in 0 goals scored against us. I mean, it's always a good feeling for Eli, our goalie, and all of us defenders as well.
Mm-hmm. And then I was looking at your schedule, and it's been a little up and down in different ways. Maybe it's not what it seems always, but you win one, you lose one. You win one, you lose one. Is that as it seems, or are there just different things going on there, do you think?
Well, I think we started to build, and this seems like the boys have really put the things that we've been working together at practice. They've actually gone out on the field on game day, especially on that Manistee match, and they put it all together. So the conversations about possessions, about where we're going to feed that ball, making sure we're crashing the goal every time. We're always having multiple people up there, and it was nice to see them put it all together. Kind of like what Chris said, we played a full 80 minutes of soccer, and they were. It was probably one of the best matches I've seen in the last 10 years of coaching. So it was nice to see.
And it's you look at that when I was talking about the schedule. Obviously, not every game is created equally, and you got to look at where the schedule is weighted and different things. It's not everything's the same. So you can't just say, there's different reasons for different things like that. But how dangerous can this team be? And this is for any of you guys, if you can replicate that performance. I know it's hard to repeat that over and over, but if you get anywhere near there, how tough of an out do you think this team could be?
I mean, everyone on the team's dangerous. We have shooters up top. Our defenders can lock down. Our goalie's crazy. Our touches are great once we get them going. And if we're feeling it, I mean, it's just like that Manistee 6-0. For my 4 years, we've never beat Manistee like that. I don't even know if I've ever beat Manistee. So all that, we were all clicking on Monday for sure. And, I mean, little preview on Monday, but that's probably about close to how dangerous we can get.
Now you look at you talked about Eli a minute ago. Eli Bunton, your goalie, and your keeper. And you play in front of him, obviously, Lucas. And how much of a luxury is it in some ways? Just you got Inspector Gadget back there, which you guys don't know who that is. Brandon does.
I know who that is.
We're probably close to the same age, I'm assuming.
Very close. Yeah.
So just all arms and legs and back there. And how athletic and how good of a keeper is he?
I mean, he is, he's a really good goalie. I mean, if somebody gets by me, I'm confident that he's going to save that, which he does all the time.
Yeah.
And he's been a lifesaver so many times over his career here. It's good to have him behind us.
So we have these two guys on here. Let's talk a little bit about each of them. If you could just kind of maybe say the role that each of them plays and how important each of these guys is to your team.
Sure. Obviously, they were voted captains by their teammates. It's not something that I chose. They've been leaders throughout the last couple of years. I've had the fortunate experience to have coached them many, many years back in the days of club when they were 9 and 10, and so to be able to still kind of progress and become the high school coach and still be with them, still having those same experiences on the soccer field. It's been an amazing season, and I wish it would slow down a little bit, honestly. But it's been a great time. It's a great group of not only players I have right now, but the parents are great, and so it just makes coaching so much more easy and seamless.
So give us a little history lesson on your experience in soccer. Did you grow up playing then too?
You know, I grew up playing recreational soccer many years ago for White Lake Youth Sports when it was still behind. We practiced and played behind the NBC school, and then it was dirt. I mean, it was pretty much just some scrub grass and dirt. Obviously, things have improved a lot. It's so nice to have the Montague Township Soccer Complex and have the Klein family donate that property so we could have that athletic facility. It is so nice, and it just helps, obviously, all those soccer players have a place to go in the White Lake area. So very fortunate, and I'm fortunate that my kids at a very young age got back into the sport or became to love it. And it, my oldest son graduated a couple years ago. He's now 20, going on 21, and wish I could have him back. Wish those years were a little slower.
Yeah, that goes quickly. You know, I've got 3 daughters, and it moves quickly. And
Sure does.
but how special is it to grow up with a group of kids like this? Because you had sons playing, have a son playing.
Yep.
How special is that to be able to kind of have that dynamic?
It really is. And I might, jokingly, people have said, you can't be a good high school coach if you're just a well-intentioned dad. And I'm still a well-intentioned dad, and I hope I become a good soccer coach. And I've really enjoyed being with these young men. I've already had some of the guys that are going to be, around next year say, "Hey, are you gonna disappear because your son's graduating?" And I'm like, no. I love the group of guys that are out there right now. We've really seen this grow in the last 10 years from a team that, the first year I coached, we had 16 players total. And now we've been pretty steady the last few years where we've had 30. We've had enough JV participation to have a JV program for 5 years. So it's great. It's good to see us building numbers. And that goes back to these guys. They're getting the people interested in the school. We're seeing crowds at home games that I could have never dreamt of, and so I love having the student section there. That kind of support, even at home away matches, to have those kids travel and want to come see these guys play soccer is amazing.
So was it pretty cool having your own field that way? I mean, some do, some don't. Some play like on the football/soccer field, but and that field's been there a long time. Used to play football on that because I remember being a visitor, being from Ravenna and being either on the sideline or in the stands, and you're like, there's really no difference because it's like the stands and then or the sideline and the stands are like right here.
Very close, and we are very.
And that's where
fortunate
your
to have.
obviously benches are now. But.
Yes, but it's amazing to have our own complex. So many places have to juggle schedules with football, but it is so nice to have our own complex. And Brandon Pranger, who works for the schools and does the maintenance there at the field, I can't say enough what he does for us. He knows that soccer wants it shorter than football. He cuts it short. He vacs it. He's out there, religiously taking care of that field so that we can have the best opportunity and the best play that we can. We've had coaches from around the West Michigan Conference and outside of our conference come to play on it, and just they're amazed how nice our complex is.
So you guys are 7-6-0 overall, 3-3-0 in the league. Who do you have next on the schedule?
Oak Ridge on Monday.
And they've been playing better too. So I mean, what do you guys think about that matchup?
Well, I mean, we played them earlier in the season, and that was 5-0, and I think we just really want to build off that. It's been a while since we've really beaten them, so that was a good feeling. I feel like now we've broken down that barrier, we can do it again.
And then, like defending someone like Arturo, I mean, what's the key to kind of slowing him down?
Honestly, just put a body on him.
Yeah, just put a body on.
Yep,
body
we're
on
going to have to play physical, and
Yeah.
defense is going to have to step first to the ball. We know that he is, 70% of their focus. They look to pass to him. That's their go-to guy. That's their scoring leader. We've known that for the last couple of years. And the turf definitely does not scare these guys with the way that they pass and they can possess. Some teams go into turf and they think, oh, it's gonna play fast and we're gonna be in trouble. And I've watched these guys play on turf, and they're good. They can pass the ball, they can touch, they can make the runs. So we're excited about Monday's match, and then obviously we got a couple other ones to get through next week as well with Fremont at home, and then we're going to.
And they're playing. Obviously, they've been playing well.
They've been playing very well. It does look like just on paper they played some of the softer teams in our conference first. and around West Michigan. So they're going to have to make a tough go of it this last 4 or 5 matches for them to
Right,
kind of
because you're
lock
going to go
things
through
up.
the meat of that schedule.
Yeah.
So what's it like playing for this guy? And you got any good stories about Coach Mahoney?
Playing for him. I mean, like he said earlier, he cherishes every single one of us. He treats us like his own. The amount of times we've gone to his house to watch film and just like things like that. He's always joking with us, making fun of us, making fun with us. Like he's just like a second dad, honestly. Funny stories.
I think Lucas wants to say something.
Well, I don't know. It's just, there's been a lot of times where there might be a joke or two cracked. But Ben Mishler's very good at that. He gets them laughing.
Oh yeah.
But it's always been positive around him. It's great coach.
So what's your, just I think a lot of people know this, they do around here, but what's your official title? Your 9 to 5?
My 9 to 5 job, I'm a detective for the local police department in Whitehall. It's been very fortunate that the city has allowed me to have a flexible schedule so I can coach. And I try to work that schedule around so like when these guys are done at the end of the day, they're not driving home or riding the bus home and then coming back for a practice for us. They're able to go right from school, right to the field. We can run that practice. And I can't say enough about having that flexibility. My boss has always been a big proponent that you're not only a law enforcement officer, but you should be a community member. And I think having kind of that balance is important so that when people see me, it's not just, the lieutenant or detective from the police department, but it's also, oh, hey, that's Coach Mahoney. And so I'd love to be able to do both. And I'm very fortunate because a lot of police officers don't get that chance.
As a detective, it's not like you're going to be camping out on the corner waiting to pop people who are speeding. Because I was going to say, if there's ever been any stories of these kids, oh, that's my soccer player that just went by 10 over, 20 over.
Yeah, and it's happened. I mean, there was Ben Weese's was in a vehicle crash. Fortunately, he wasn't hurt. But I literally called him on his cell phone before his parents knew about it.
Yeah.
I called him and said, "Hey, are you all set?" And he's like, "Yeah. How do you know?" And I'm like, "I'm a cop."
Right,
And
right.
we kind of joked about it, but I want to check on him.
Yeah.
Like they said, I think of these guys as my kids, and I want to make sure they're okay. If he needs a ride to school or needs a ride home to get a different vehicle, or he needs somebody to reach out to their parents, I want to make sure I'm there for him if I can be.
Well, like that old saying, to protect and to serve. And I mean, thank you for what you do too. So
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. So, what have been some of the highlights of this season, and what are the biggest goals remaining, do you think, for you guys? Obviously, I think Monday would be, of course, a highlight, but what else?
Yeah, Monday for sure. Beating Oak Ridge early in the season was a big highlight. I've never beat Oak Ridge in my high school career, always tied or lost to them, and that hurts. So Monday's huge for us. Beating Manistee was a big highlight.
I'd say a Catholic starting the season as well with a dime was really good.
Yeah, that was a redemption win for you guys. I mean, definitely, we lost to them a close game at their place
Last year,
and it was not the best soccer we played. And to come out strong and not let that be a worry, kind of put that to bed for the season was good to do.
Got some people hopping in front of the window out there trying to get our attention, which it worked for me. It didn't work for you guys. You guys are focused, so good job keeping these guys focused.
Thank you.
So, goals yet? What are the things that you guys really are trying to do yet?
District title for sure. I don't know if Montague Soccer's ever seen that. I know all 15 of the guys out there hoping to see Whitehall again because last Wednesday hurt a little bit. So we're hoping to see them again. And then, we really want a district title this year.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely the team that can do it. I mean, they've got all the pieces from guys that can possess and strong in the middle to the guys that can finish up top like Carlos and Andy. It's nice to look at the stats and you look and there's, the top 5, there's so many kids in that group, top 6 that can shoot, that can score, that I know that can possess the ball. We moved a few people around, and I think that's really helped. We brought Noah Rath in as a kind of a full-time defensive mid, and it's really bolstered that area of the field. It really helped build up that midfield and keep possession. And then moving Lucas back to center back and having him play defense for us and kind of run the show back there has definitely solidified things. You can see the confidence on the field with everybody that they understand their positions. They know where to go. They're trying their best every touch. And just great to see. It was just the Manistee game was a great night. It was I shook hands with Coach Brandon from Manistee, and he's like, "Man, you got a great team." And it's always nice to have another coach acknowledge, like, "Wow, that wasn't just a fluke on our part that we didn't play very well, but like, wow, your team's good."
Yeah, so it wasn't like it was a 1-0, 2-0,
No,
or maybe a couple breaks or whatever. It was a
no,
thorough.
and they were big. I mean, we were watching them warm up, and there was, they had some size, not just tall, skinny kids, but I mean, a couple guys that Andy was going against that, they looked like they were 22. So it was it was good to get that win and just to see the kids not be intimidated. So,
Well, any closing thoughts before we sign off on this podcast? Anything else you'd like to share?
I'm all set.
no, we appreciate you having us here. And
Yeah, thanks for
it was-
coming in.
It was fun.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. We have senior Chris Abig, senior Lucas Husband, and Coach Brandon Mahoney. I'm Scott DeCamp with CatchMark SportsNet. This is the Montague Boys Soccer Podcast. So thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good rest of your week. Thank you.